So welcome everyone to the Mastermind Book Club. Tonight we are reviewing the second part of the book, Spark, the Revolutionary Science of Exercise and the Brain. Exercise and the Brain. Yes, this is a book that has had me read it or listen to it 1.5 times. Why? I like the content, very powerful content that I can use with lots of people to improve their lives as well as mine. So here we're getting ready to review this because it's important to read books in reference to habits that transform our lives, isn't it? I know that some of you will post in the chat, just like Dennis does, so I will try to be aware of that, although when I enter the slide, for whatever reason, it doesn't allow me to see it. So what I'll do is I'll connect to my other phone, and that way I am attentive of the chats that go on in this group, which are highly important. And Dennis always loves to say great and important things. So here I am connecting, and where's the chat group? Here we go. Awesome, now I can see you guys. All right, so exercise enhances creativity. How does it do that? During exercise, the hippocampus, the brain region called the hippocampus, receives a large amount of BDNF. BDNF is brain, I don't remember what it stands for, brain-derived neurotropic factor, growth factor. Yeah. That's it. Wow, my memory's good. That means exercise is working. The hippocampus acts like a cartographer for the brain, linking new information to existing memories. Exercise sparks the master molecule of the learning process. So a memory, scientists believe, is a collection of information, fragments dispersed through the brain. The hippocampus serves as a way station, receiving the fragments from the cortex and then bundling them together and sending them back up as a map of a unique new pattern of connections. If you have an important afternoon brainstorming session scheduled, going for a short run before that brainstorming session, an intense short run during lunchtime or just before it, some intense workout, isn't it a smart idea or is it a crazy idea? It's a smart idea. It's a fantastic idea. It's a genius idea. What is this book about? Plain and simple, exercise. And what are its effects to the brain? The brain functions, as we know, with the following chemicals. Epinephrine, I might have spelled it wrong, but I think it's pretty close. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and cortisol. Now, oxytocin is not mentioned in this book, but I know it's part of the main chemicals that induce the brain with what we do on a regular basis. And I will explain each, or as best I can. What does the brain need to function? It needs 3 things. It needs glucose, it needs oxygen, and it needs trace minerals. How do we get glucose? Certain types of sugars, maybe through fruits, vegetables, in what we eat. Oxygen, how do we get oxygen to the brain? There are several ways to get oxygen. Number 1, we all have a heart, I believe. And if we don't, you have a transplant, some type of heart. With that heart, it pumps blood towards the brain, and towards the brain, it converts it to oxygen. Or oxygen is in your veins, because I'm not the perfect person to answer this. I know Dennis is epinephrine, so I spelled epinephrine wrong. Thanks, Dennis. I just noticed the text. So oxygen is very important to the brain. When a brain doesn't have much oxygen, you don't operate, you don't function normally. What causes oxygen to be depleted from the brain? It could be cerebral palsy. It could be apoxia, I believe it's what it's called, anoxia. These are issues that are involved in lack of oxygen getting to the brain. I have a child that has cerebral palsy, and she has oxygen deficiency that we are in the process of improving on a regular basis. So the reality is that oxygen is highly important. Those who smoke know how important it is to have oxygen. Why? A lot of times they lack oxygen, they don't notice. They can't operate well, they're very stressed. The cigarette in itself has nicotine, and that deprives the brain of oxygen. Now, do I know the full terms of this? No, but I can tell you is that the more you smoke, the less oxygen you will have in your brain, the less energy you will have, the less possibility you have of thinking properly to create a better version of yourself. Trace minerals. What are trace minerals? Well, trace minerals like magnesium and a few others that are out there that are found in natural salt as well as organic fruits, vegetables, and so on. Trace minerals are highly important. I've been able to improve people's lives through trace minerals. It depends on their situation as well, because trace minerals can have an adverse effect. I know that at least a few people have recommended trace minerals after I recommended it to them, and they had adverse effects on those people they recommended it to. Why? Because they didn't know their full background. Recommending certain supplements is good, but only if you know who to recommend it to. So you've got to be very careful when you recommend these things. How does exercise benefit the brain? It brings in oxygen. Exercise brings oxygen to the brain. It balances the brain. If you know someone who has ADD, ADHD, these symptoms can be relieved through one part, which is exercise. Specific types of exercise. Don't think that all types of exercise are going to have the same outcome, as well as a combination of the medications that your doctor prescribes. All right? That's how you need to start out. You need to take the medications and then figure out how to wean off the medications eventually, because you do become addicted to the drugs or you become addicted to exercise. That's a reality. How much exercise do we need to do? When is the best time for exercise?
Early in the morning.
Schedule your aerobic exercise before learning a difficult subject, tackling a complex project, or conducting a brainstorming session. Yes, Martha is right. Early morning is the best time. I love early morning. This morning I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. Actually, I woke up at 5 in the morning. I meditate for a few minutes. Then at 5:30 in the morning, I get out of bed and I start to do exercise. I went up 9 flights of stairs 10 times this morning for an equivalent of 1,450 steps. Boy, do my legs hurt. I feel really good, but they hurt. Yes, that's just the way it goes. What is the most effective form of exercise? Any exercise is better than no exercise. That's number one. So if you love to walk, get out there and walk. 20, 30 minutes of walking. Schedule it. Keep track of your walking sessions. You have plenty of apps you can download. But not only that, get yourself a heart monitor. I don't have one yet, but I'm going to order one, because keeping track of your heart rate is highly important. Highly, highly important. It's like warming up your car before you drive it. That's what Dennis says. Love it. Love it, Dennis. That's in reference to what, Dennis? Warming up your car before you drive it. That's, putting the oxygen into the brain. That's right. Oxygen is like warming up your car. That's right. Types. The most effective form of exercise for increasing mental performance is aerobic exercise, also known as cardio. Aerobic exercise includes any activity that pushes your heart and lungs for a sustained period. Examples include running, biking, and swimming. Although weight training is essential for physical health, it's not going to provide the cognitive benefits aerobic exercises does. Crazy, but not far from the truth. How long do you need to exercise? 20 to 30 minutes, that's what I said. With a sustained heart rate of 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. Your max heart rate is 208 beats per minute. 0.7% of that times current age. So that's the formula right there, if you can see it. 208 minus 0.7 times current age. So in other words, you have to multiply your current age times 0.7. So let's say you're 100 years old and you multiply that by 0.7. So that's 70. So 208 minus 70. That's 130. Let's see, 178 is the heart rate. That sounds pretty high. I don't know if I'm doing that correct. I could be doing it wrong. So let's say it's, yeah, that's right. Wait, 70. 0.7 times 100 is 70, right? Let's see if I got my math correct. I'm sorry about this. I am a mathematician at times, but at times I forget. Yep, 70. So 70, 208 minus 70 is 138 beats per minute for someone who's 100. For someone who's 40, so you do 0.7 times 40, that would be 28. 208 minus 28, that would mean 180 beats a minute. That's about, so the average beats is 160 to between 160 and 180. I'd say 160 to 175. That's the average. If you exceed 70% of your maximum heart rate, you'll start burning reserve fuel, glycogen, and releasing large amounts of lactic acid, which breaks down muscle. The more time you spend above 70% of your maximum heart rate, the more recovery time you'll need between exercises, and the less often you'll reap the cognitive benefits of exercise. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, don't worry. Iowa State University kinesiologist Panteleimon Ekakakis has found moving at a pace which feels somewhat hard is a good indication you are exercising near 70% of your maximum heart rate. Let's get back here because I like Dennis's chat. Check with a doctor for heart health before beginning an aggressive routine. Yes, it's good to check with your doctor because that way you get a more realistic heart rate. But I gave you pretty much an average. If you're 100, don't push it too hard. And being at 100, I'd say walking is good enough. It'll pump it just as much as it needs to, walking. But if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, anywhere from 130 to 150 is a little bit safer, even less than that. But you should always check with your doctor. If you have an opportunity even to check with a cardiologist or a pulmonologist, why not? Those are the experts. That's what they're trained in. Choose a sport that simultaneously taxes the cardiovascular system and the brain. Tennis is a good example. Or do a 10-minute aerobic warm-up before something non-aerobic and skill-based, such as rock climbing or balance drills, while aerobic exercise elevates neurotransmitters, creates new blood vessels that pipe in growth factors, and spawns new cells. Complex activities put all that material to use by strengthening and expanding networks. The more complex the movements, the more complex the synaptic connections. Did you hear that? Running is easy. You just have to get up and do it. Walking is easy. Swimming takes a little bit more work because it involves breathing. What was the third thing that was recommended? What was the third exercise? I don't remember. However, I have a routine called Insanity, and I like to follow it for 5, 10, 20 minutes. That's what builds these synaptic connections. Now, what have I learned from this book? That for my daughter, who is unable to walk yet, but is starting to move, because I remember when she was 2, 3, she wasn't moving much. Now she's starting to move. We just had her, before this video, we have her doing therapies, and after this video, we'll have her doing some therapies. It's important to do these specific neurogenesis, synaptic creating exercises, neurogenesis, creating neurogenesis in the brain through these exercises that are a bit more complex. In order for man to succeed in life, God provided him with two means: education and physical activity. Not separately, one for the soul, which is education. That's what we take from this world, education. And the other for the body, running, exercising, not smoking. But for two together, it is very powerful. With these two means, man can attain perfection. That's Plato's quote. But I want to tell you something very important. There's another form of smoking that is being created every day. Most of us are unaware of it. It's called sitting behind your computer, behind your tablet, for 16, 20, 10, 8 hours a day. Make sure you're getting your exercise work. A few minutes a day, a few times a day. Get up from your chair. Do some exercise. That's how you'll be able to build, to grow. Sitting down is the next form of smoking out there that people are grabbing onto. It creates more negative energy than it does positive energy. I don't care who you are. If you're smoking, you're creating negative energy faster than you're creating positive energy. Why? Because it's easier to say what you want to do, the right things, but it's hard to do it. It's harder to do it. So get on the right track. Stop the nonsense. Stop sitting down. Right now as we speak, I'm standing up. I'm standing up. I'm not sitting. I decided to stand up. Why? Because normally I'd sit down and I feel the less energy, the lack of energy. I feel that I'm down, crouched down, but I have the Superman pose right now. Do you know how powerful the Superman pose is? You know, spreading your legs just a foot and a half apart or so, standing with your arms at your shoulder, at your hips. This is power. This is power. I'd like you to practice it, even for 1 minute, for 30 seconds a day. Get used to it. Build these habits. There are many habits we have to build. These books that we're going over on habits, what are you waiting for? Do them now. Now, this is my review for this book. I could keep going on. There's a lot of important information in this book. A lot of important information in this book. But these are the basic points. Number one, oxytocin. How is oxytocin created? By doing a good deed, or by seeing someone doing a good deed, or by hearing that someone did a good deed. These all create oxytocin. Epinephrine. Does anyone know how that's created? How about dopamine? Does anyone know how dopamine is created?
Yeah, emotions.
Gambling, being behind your computer or tablet all day, or a phone all day.
I say dopamine.
Drugs can create dopamine, as well as running can create dopamine, and exercise can create dopamine.
Exercise.
Epinephrine. Does anyone know how epinephrine is created?
Mm-hmm.
Serotonin. Trying to give you here a hint. Look it up. Look it up. I don't want to be the only one responding here. Look it up on your computer, Martha. Tell me, what do you find on epinephrine? Serotonin. Go ahead. Serotonin. Go ahead.
Serotonin. Special moments. Go to the farm. Go to swimming. To have a good time.
Serotonin?
Serotonin, yeah.
Okay. Any, Dennis, do you have any idea on epinephrine definition, or can you look it up? And the last one, while Dennis is looking up, if he's still on, maybe Ty wants to look up cortisol. Ty, are you there? Are you able to speak, or you want to put it in the chat?
Cortisol is a hormone for defense. When you have a fight, when you have a discussion with somebody, the brain have
yes.
a cortisol.
It's called the fight and flight.
It's not a hormone
chemical.
in the body.
So our brain reacts a specific way when it feels threatened.
Yeah.
And we need cortisol. However, it's sad that a lot of people are taking these ointments and pills with cortisol. So much cortisol in the body. Oh my God, that's crazy. It's insane. Is there a way to flush it out? Yes, there is, but it's not overnight. Everyone wants an overnight solution. There's no overnight solutions. However, once you get started with the exercise plan, it's a start to a more complex plan, which will be one of the videos that I will have available for people who want to get involved in improving their lives, right? Dennis, you get a chance to look up serotonin, or you, Martha? Did you get a chance?
Serotonin.
Epinephrine. Epinephrine is a form of adrenaline. Yes, what else? What else do you find in there? Dennis. Boost the body system. It also boosts the immune system. It also boosts the brain when you're feeling sad, depressed, anxious, worried, fearful, right? Epinephrine is what we need when we're feeling down. Obviously, it can be used through caffeine, through green tea. Green tea is probably one of the better ways to have a more balanced boost. Adrenaline is created through many things. Obviously, going into danger, getting on, doing something that we're not accustomed to doing is a great way to create more epinephrine in the body. Anything else you want to say, Dennis? While Martha's looking up which one is it? Serotonin? Yes, serotonin.
Serotonin. Serotonin is for special moments.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Go ahead.
I was thinking somebody was talking. Serotonin is for happy moments.
Correct. I was waiting because I want you guys to do something that's creative, and just the process of researching is very important for the brain. That was the exercise I was trying to get you in, and that's how we learn. We have to use our resources as they were intended to. We're the type of being that is intended to get out there and look for what we want. But we've been induced to getting everything pretty much hand-fed to us. Going to the supermarket, we don't have to go and hunt. Going to, to walk miles and miles and miles and miles to find food, this is all gone. To be able to find shelter to keep us from danger, as it was way back when, that danger has been minimized. I mean, danger still exists, but not in the same level that it used to exist back in, in Neolithic age or before Christ was born. So that is gone. So we don't need to have that type of research. However, we're the type of people who are curious. We need to keep busy in searching for stuff. And this book, if you take it into heart, will teach you the importance of exercise and balancing it with whatever type of medications or supplements and so on you need. Maybe you need a consultation, just as Dennis said. He's one of our closest, EMS, emergency medical technicians out there, and he knows firsthand what it involves, these chemicals and how to get the body back. If you're in the process of dying, they will pump you with adrenaline rush. And I think it's a huge dose of epinephrine, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right, Dennis? See if Dennis responds.
Tell your body. Epinephrine.
Yeah, I got off the bus. What was your question again?
So is it if someone's on the verge of death, don't they inject you with epinephrine?
Yes, they use epinephrine and different techniques to reestablish the body's natural metabolism. So it's just a quick shot. It's not something they can do continually. So it's like that booster to your car. Start it again.
Got it. Thank you, Dennis. So I want to leave you guys with this important message with this book. Okay. Number one is exercise will never be appreciated as a medical solution to what pills can maintain in your body. Let me repeat that again. Exercise will never be a solution to what pills can be used to maintain your body symptoms, right? When have you heard of cures from the medical industry? Very few, right? Do you think that marijuana is a cure? No.
No.
It's created another problem, right? It's mentioned in this book. And that's why I tell you that the power of this book is unbelievable. It mentions so many things that I have decided I've been implementing since I started reading this book 2 weeks ago. I've told my kids, you've got to work out every day. You've got to work out every day. You've got to exercise. It's not for me, it's for you, right? I'm pushing it in their brain. They're going to get it eventually. I told my daughter the same thing the other day. You know, my oldest daughter, I told her, you look pregnant, you know, or you're overweight. I said, what's happening? You're one of the best out there in exercising. Oh, I'm waiting for the sports program to start all over. I said, you're waiting for the sports program, or are you interested in improving your life? So she started thinking, and she said, you're right. And that's it. I know she'll pick it up. It might take her a little bit, but she'll pick it up. That's the same thing I'm trying to tell you here. If you want to develop specific habits of the wealthy, they sleep good long hours, but they sacrifice their time at the beginning. All right? You've got to sacrifice your time in the beginning. Right now, I'm getting up at 5 in the morning. I go to bed at midnight. Otherwise, I don't have enough time to do everything that it takes to get done in the day. All right? What are you doing? How are you sacrificing your time? All right? How are you building your task that you need to get accomplished? We don't have a lot of time on this earth. So get started. Do something so that you feel good and that tomorrow, God forbid you're in your deathbed or you can't move, you won't regret. You will feel happy that you've accomplished even the most minimal task to get ahead. Thank you very much for this review. Anyone else have any comments or questions or anything that they want to add?
We say last week
Thank you.
the exercise prevent Alzheimer's disease, depression, bipolar disease. All this kind of is good when the woman is pregnant, and
yes,
it's very good for the unborn baby too.
So thank you. That's right. Martha, there's many reasons that this book mentions. It's hard to go over everything in one session. That's why we had 2 sessions, and I did half in the other session. But yes, Martha is correct. You know, for my child, for cerebral palsy, I found out that she has a high chance of developing cancer because her basal ganglia and her upper thalami is not working too well. However, inducing exercise into her regimen will improve the possibilities of relieving the symptoms that could result from cancer. So I'm on it. I'm on top of it. make sure that we are aware that she needs to be taken care of. And that is part of the process of improving her life. So this is it for the review today, unless anyone else wants to add. Ty, I know you said something and I caught a little bit of it, if you wanted to say anything. Ty or Dennis?
No, I was just saying thank you. I was just saying thank you.
Much love to you. Thank you. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
That's a heart. I just made a heart on there. I know you can't see because you're calling us. Dennis, anything you want to add?
Just one major thing is you are very impressive with keeping the minds of everybody who listens to you sharp and informed. And exercising the brain controls the body. Most of the time we react to our body. Well, I feel sluggish, or I don't want to get up, or I don't want to do something, because your body's saying no. But if your mind is sharp and focused, your body follows the mind. So thank you for being that leader. Appreciate your information, your content, your delivery. It's amazing as always. Keep it coming.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Next week, we're taking a little bit of a tangent. Why? A lot of people are developing their businesses. So I have a special book that I'm going to post tomorrow that stay tuned, because that book is going to improve a lot of people's lives in this group. All right? And if you care, invite your friends to Facebook, to join our group on Facebook, or to comment, to join our YouTube channel. I will post this as soon as I have a chance. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. And until next week, signing off, your Mastermind Book Club, ceodaviddiaz.com. Check us out. Have a great evening. And I will let you know tomorrow what our book is. Take care. Have a great evening.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night. Everyone have a good weekend.
It was an amazing book. Thank you.
Yes. Bye. Yes, it was. Thank you. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.